Now next point we have to study is the heat capacity. Now heat capacity is related to when we are heating any substance in a system. Suppose that if any object A, if we want to heat this object, then we provide heat to this object A, which is at temperature T1, and after some time the temperature of this object increases. Okay, so if we want to heat this substance from lower temperature to higher temperature, then the concept of heat capacity occurs, and we can define heat capacity. It is indicated by symbol C. Heat capacity is indicated by symbol C. So heat capacity is defined as the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of the system from lower to higher temperature divided by difference of this temperature. Okay, so it is mathematically it is expressed as amount of heat Q required to raise the temperature of the system from lower to higher divided by the difference T2 minus T1. So this is heat capacity. This term is prepared as a heat capacity. So C is equal to Q upon T2 minus T1. So it is defined as, I am repeating once again, heat capacity is defined as the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of the system from lower to higher temperature divided by the difference. So this is heat capacity. Now specifically sometimes specific heat capacity. Specific means its word itself will indicate that specific heat capacity. If instead of this we have taken 1 gram substance, specific substance. Okay. If we want to increase the temperature of the system from lower to higher by 1 degree. Okay, 1 degree Celsius or 1 degree Kelvin. So if how a specific heat capacity can be defined? The specific heat capacity is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of substance through 1 degree is called as specific heat capacity. So we are mentioning here specifically 1 gram substance is there, 1 degree temperature should have to increase. So this specifically mentioned, so it is called as specific heat capacity. And in general heat capacity, we are saying that the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of system from lower to higher, not specifically 1 degree, 2 degree, here lower to higher divided by the difference, it is heat capacity. Now there are two important terms of heat capacity. So heat capacity, it is C, which is equal to Q upon T2 minus T1. So mathematically it is expressed in this way. Now two important terms of specific heat capacity that are well known in thermodynamics, well known in physical chemistry. So these terms are heat capacity at constant volume. Heat capacity at constant volume. Constant volume indicated by CV. Okay. So we have to derive equation for CV, heat capacity at constant volume. Let's see the mathematical expression for first law of thermodynamics. What is that? Q is equal to delta E plus W. From first law of thermodynamics, mathematical expression we can write Q is equal to delta E plus W. In terms of pressure volume type of work, if a pressure volume type of work is considered, then W is represented as P delta V. Volume changes, pressure constant. So pressure volume type of work, we can write work in the form of pressure volume type of work P delta V. Okay, so if you replace this term, then Q is equal to delta E plus P delta V. What is heat? We want to know the heat capacity at constant volume. What is volume is constant. So if V is equal to constant, that is meant by VB is equal to VA. Initial state volume is constant, means initial state volume is equal to final state volume. So Vb is equal to Va. That means difference between these two, if initially it is having same volume, finally it is having same volume, then difference between these two volumes becomes 0. So if volume is constant, then difference, that is delta V, should be 0. And if delta V is equal to 0, this total term becomes 0 and Q is equal to delta E. Q represented as delta E. Okay, so if we see the definition of heat capacity, what is that? Mathematical expression C is equal to Q T2 minus T1. Okay, so what is value of Q at constant volume? Value of Q is equal to delta E. So at constant volume, heat capacity is represented as CV is equal to Q replaced by delta E upon T2 minus T1. So CV, in another way we can represent delta E by delta T. So difference delta E by delta T. And in smaller terms, in very infinitesimal quantities, we can write CV equal to delta E by delta T at constant volume for infinitesimally small quantities. Infinitesimally small quantities, you can write in this way: quantities delta E by delta T at constant volume. So this is called as heat capacity at constant volume. So this is heat capacity. Next term is the heat capacity at constant volume. Remember this equation for our constant volume, because we have to use this equation many times in deriving other equation. So important, and remember it, delta E by delta T. Sometimes dE by dt is also the differential form of this heat capacity at constant volume. So we have derived heat capacity at constant volume. Next term that we have to study is the heat capacity at constant pressure. Okay, so heat capacity at constant pressure. Let's see, if pressure is kept constant, then what will be the equation that we obtain? Heat capacity at constant pressure. Now it is represented as Cp, constant pressure. So heat capacity at constant pressure represented by Cp. Now look at the equation, revise the equation again. That is first law of thermodynamics, Q is equal to delta E plus W in terms of PV type of work, pressure volume type of work. We can represent this first law as a Q is equal to delta E plus P delta V. Okay, so first law statement can be represented in different ways. So one of the form is here. Okay, one of the form is here, Q is equal to delta E plus P delta V. Now we have kept pressure constant, but here pressure is constant, no variable. We have not taken difference, or here pressure is constant here. So this equation remains as it is. But we know the definition of enthalpy as we derive. Definition of enthalpy. Enthalpy change is represented in this way: delta E plus P delta V is the enthalpy change. Okay, from the definition of enthalpy, we have derived the equation of enthalpy change, and that is delta H is equal to delta E plus P delta V. Delta H is equal to delta E plus P delta V. So we can replace the term Q is equal to this total term should be replaced by this delta H. So Q is equal to delta H at constant pressure. Know that at constant pressure Q is equal to delta H. So at constant pressure. Now again see the specific heat capacity. Heat capacity C is equal to Q upon T2 minus T1. Q is equal to C is equal to Q upon T2 minus T1. So Q should be replaced at constant pressure. Q should be replaced by delta H. So C is equal to delta H upon T2 minus T1. So it can be represented as this at constant pressure they have taken. So Cp is equal to delta H upon delta T at constant pressure. And for infinitesimally smaller quantities we can write, for infinitesimally smaller quantities we can write Cp is equal to delta H by, these are partial differentiation. Okay, delta means partial differentiation. We can write dH also. dH is another differential, but the partial differentiation is represented by delta, another symbol. So remember these symbols. So we are using delta here, delta H by delta T at constant pressure. So this equation represents heat capacity at constant pressure. Heat capacity at constant pressure. Here again we have to write here heat capacity at constant pressure. We have to remember this equation 2 for delta H by delta T at constant T. What we gain from these equations? These equations indicate that heat capacity at constant volume is the change in internal energy of system per unit change of temperature. What is heat capacity at constant volume can be defined? Heat capacity at constant volume is the change in internal energy per unit change of temperature at constant volume, and at heat capacity at constant pressure can be defined as heat capacity at constant pressure is the change in enthalpy of system per unit change of temperature. Change in enthalpy of system per unit change of temperature. So this is the heat capacity at constant pressure. Remember these equations: heat capacity at constant volume, heat capacity at constant pressure. Okay. So next term we have to study is the energy and internal energy. Okay, energy and internal energy. So energy, what is energy? We know that work. We know the concept work. What is meant by work? Work, if I move from one place to another place, or if I lift this duster and place in another place, kept in another place, from one place to another place, that is called as work. It is work done. If I lift this duster and kept in another place, so it is work done. Now to do this work, some kind of value or some kind of magnitude is required, and that magnitude is nothing but energy. So energy can be defined as anything obtained from work, or anything converted into work, or work itself is called as energy. Work itself called as energy. In a simple language, we say anything that obtained from work or may be converted into work, or work itself is called as energy. Or in more simple language, we can write the capacity to do work. Energy is what? It is capacity to do work. Capacity to do work. Okay. Energy is the capacity to do work. So, if we see the dimensions of energy, that is can be represented in this way: m L square T raised to minus 2, means it is mass into length square upon time square. So these are the all type of energies are represented by these dimensions. Okay, all kind of energies are represented by these dimensions, and if the energy is due to the motion, then that energy is called as kinetic energy. Okay, if energy is due to the motion, then that energy is called as kinetic energy, and if energy is due to the position in the field of forces, position of any system, by virtue of position of that system in position in the field of forces, then that energy is called as potential energy. That energy is called as potential energy. So two types of energies we know, the kinetic energy, potential energy. Okay, so kinetic energy due to the motion and potential energy is due to the position of that particular object or position of that system in the field of forces. So potential energy. Okay, so these are two types of energy, and all kinds of energy have such dimension: mass, length square, and time inverse square. So these are about this is about energy. Let's see the internal energy. Important concept: internal energy, mostly used in thermodynamics, in physical chemistry. Internal energy concept. I told you in some last lectures, it is represented either by E or U. In some books you will find the symbol U, or in some books you will find symbol E. So don't mind about E or U, both represent internal energy. So internal energy is represented by these two symbols. So every object or every substance is associated with certain kind of energy. Every substance is associated with certain kind of energy. And what is that energy? Every substance is associated with certain kind of energy. Why this energy? This energy is due to its chemical nature. So every substance is associated with energy due to its chemical nature, its mass, temperature, pressure, volume, and that energy is nothing but it is internal energy. That energy is called as internal energy, or it is also called as intrinsic energy, or it may be also called as chemical energy. So different names for this internal energy: chemical energy. Okay. So internal energy represented by E or U. It is every substance is associated with certain kind of energy due to the chemical nature, mass, temperature, pressure, volume, and this energy is called as intrinsic energy, internal energy, or chemical energy. Now exact value of this internal energy, we can't find exact value. Why we don't know the exact value? Because of some indeterminate factor, such as translational motion is there. Energy is due to the translational motion, vibrational motion, electronic motion. So vibrational motion. So these are indeterminate factors. So we can't know. We don't know the exact value, or we don't know the absolute value of entropy. We can't find internal energy. We don't know the exact value of internal energy. So we can't find the exact value of E or U. So, but in spite of that, this has a particular value at particular state. So at particular state we can find out the value of internal energy. Particular state we can find out the value of internal energy, and that such as at final state EB, at initial state EA. So from that we know the difference, that is delta E, difference between internal energy of two states, but we don't know the exact value of E. Exact value can't be determined, and there is no need of such value in thermodynamics. There is no significance of exact values in thermodynamics. We just want the change. What change or what difference is there from initial and final state? We can find out that difference, so that it is considered as a state function. So internal energy is a state function. It is the energy associated with certain kind of energy. Every substance is associated with certain kind of energy due to chemical nature, mass, temperature, pressure, volume, and it is a state function represented by delta E. So the difference between two states.